I'm on the way to a teaching gig, and you know, it's been a while since I've done any recording, because after I made my seminal video, you know, about creating a bicultural learning environment, I haven't really had anything to haven't found anything to build upon that until quite recently. About a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, I found an article, a research article about the Japanese haji, shame, and guilt. And you know, it's it looks like it's basically a shame culture. Okay, so going back to my seminal video, in that I did introduce a comment by a student. He said, actually, we were selfish, but Chuck had enough energy to meet our demands. Okay, now, if it was with someone that they're trying to get along with, you know, selfishness would provoke guilt and or shame, and they would apologize for that. But now with me, there was no shame or guilt at all. But and this is the way I look at it. You know, I think he was just competing with me on a business level, because he did have an MBA, you know, and he did take pride in that, and he did let me know. So he saw me as a competitor. But you see, for non-Japanese that aren't familiar with American culture, they would have definitely looked at his behavior as in a negative light, you know, and you know, they would have labeled it no motivation, discrimination, racism, you name it, anything that's negative, you know. That's how it would have been seen. But I've tried to, you know, introduce the Japanese, the subtle nuances of Japanese culture. And, well, let me sidetrack here for a moment. Look what we got here. There's a lot of history in this area. And guess what? We've even got a sign in English here. Let's check this out. Chokyuji Temple and the site of Hosono Yosai's residence. The Chokyuji Temple was moved from Kiyosu in 1610. This front gate was brought here at the time. Hosono Yosai, 1811 to 1878. That's the Tokugawa period. A well-known Confucian scholar of the late Edo period, lived at the rear of the temple for about 40 years until his death in 1878. And you know, believe it or not, that falls right in line with what I'm talking about. You know, it mentioned Confucianism, and you know, actually I'm not familiar with Confucianism, but I do believe shame and guilt is part of Confucianism. So it's a very respectable trait to feel shame and guilt. But you see, in the case of my student, yeah, there is no need. He felt no need to show a respectable side to himself. And I don't know, maybe he was just trying to take the American approach, you know, because yeah, his English was very good, and I believe he did live overseas as a child. And so when I consider his background, well, it just gets a lot more complicated. But that's what I like, you know. I like taking it case by case. You know, these the many unresolvable issues and dilemmas that need consideration when creating a bicultural learning environment.